An episode of SmackDown where Roman Reigns did not steal the show? The end is nigh, the end is nigh, time to run away, the end is nigh. I'm telling you what now, dear viewer, in my humble opinion, as I stand in front of you, a useless hack on the interwebs, Carmella, this psychotic, delusional Carmella, new entrance, that little pal of hers that brought the Chardonnay or the champagne down to the ringside area, smashing the bottle off the back of Sasha Banks, a little bit of the bubbly. Some might say, I like this new Carmella, and she was on fire during last night's SmackDown. But I am Ross Twiddell from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are all the WTF moments from last night's SmackDown. Intro man, hit the intro, will you please? And given that we know that WWE and Vince McMahon in particular are a set of petty bastards, I'm asking the question, is it a WTF moment that Snoop Doggy Dogg was still playing Sasha Banks out to the ring on last night's SmackDown? Is it? We've all read the news reports this week, haven't we? Which means they have to be 100% true, because the wrestling news, it never tells lies. That apparently people backstage in prominent positions in WWE are pissed off that somebody who has no affiliation with them outside of a song for Sasha Banks' entrance and a couple of nonsense t-shirts with The Undertaker would dare go and appear on a different company's wrestling show, even though that wrestling show, of course, appears on the same network as a talent show Snoop Doggy Dogg appears on. What a bastard he is, eh? So I'm starting this WTF Moments video with that question there. Is it a WTF moment that Snoop Doggy Dogg is still appearing on SmackDown after what he did? That no good bastard. We have seen, of course, WWE do far more in response to far less. And I tell you what, could you imagine Corey Graves' face when he sees Carmella sat there speaking about her sommelier? I think that's how that word's pronounced. I'm not too sure. I'm not posh me. I'm as common as muck. But she's speaking about that fella there, and she's saying that's her sommelier, who doubles as her little messenger boy, and well, she didn't do that. Whatever else I want. Ooh, missus, I was thinking. I mean, it's obvious to me that Carmella is clearly speaking about McDonald's there. She sends her sommelier to go and get her secret McDonald's behind Corey Graves' back. This is the only explanation. When I know I'm getting McDonald's, I get all sassy and a little bit saucy and a little bit cheeky, just like Carmella was there. What else could she have been talking about, man? And once again, we tune into SmackDown, and once again we see Angelo Dawkins appear on the screen to go, yeah! In the most annoying way possible, man, Angelo, stop it, will you? And not only that, we had the WTF moment, of course, a few short weeks ago, where Angelo Dawkins and his gappy facial hair was trying to take the piss out of Bobby Roode's dense, luscious, thick AF beard, and he was back on SmackDown this week doing it once again. How Angelo Dawkins can stand there on last night's SmackDown and call Bobby Roode's facial hair cheesy when he stood there with a literal slice of Swiss cheese. Look at all the holes on his cheeks. It just beggars belief. I'm telling you, man, the annoying coming back once again, the delusional lying about Bobby Roode's beard. I'm telling you, Angelo Dawkins is a heel. Do you remember back in the day when WCW would just hit random pyro for no good reason whatsoever, with the only actual reason being, of course, we've reached the top of the hour once again. We're all an hour closer to death. Let's celebrate. Well, this was shades of that. Mid-match, of course, Street Profits music hits and then cups rain from the sky all over the professional wrestling ring. And I'm asking the question why? Mind games, was it? Tactics, was it Montez Ford? WWE, was it silly bollocks that didn't work whatsoever? Probably that one. Made a grave mistake, Corey. Now I know what Corey Graves was doing when he was saying that he doesn't think that Big E is ready for the responsibility of being Intercontinental Champion, being the champion of all the continents. Corey Graves, in his role as the heel commentator on Friday Night SmackDown, he was blindly supporting the professional wrestling heel Sami Zayn. But as long-time viewers of this utter bollocks on the YouTube will know, when I see a heel supporting a heel, but the supporting heel is being a really stupid heel instead of being a really clever, nuanced heel, I've got to make it a WTF moment. How can Corey Graves say this when we all know that That is a thing that existed in a not too distant past. However, man, Corey, you're just making yourself look like a knob. Me want clever heels, me. Was I the only person aroused when that was happening there? I'll be thinking about that when I get in my bedroom tonight. Let me tell you that for free, dear viewer. Stupid, sexy Sami Zayn. And was anyone else aroused by that too? Big E was merely a singlet away from teabagging Sami Zayn right in the mouth live on SmackDown, and I cannot believe it. Sami Zayn was a mere singlet away from having ballios in his mouth. It's like bootios, but balls. Mago, 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 mago. Get out of the way, Corey, said Maggle Cole, as Maggle Cole is the one who was clearly sat in the way, with Maggle Cole's chair clearly blocking Big E from getting to Sami Zayn. Maggle Cole, you're supposed to be the impartial play-by-play commentator. You're still like 2011, you're still a massive dick. Now, I don't know if this is because I was still a little bit cross-eyed and a little bit sweaty after the utter sauciness that was stupid, sexy Sami Zayn and Big E almost teabagging Sami Zayn right in his mouth. But when I heard Kevin Owens speaking about his wrestling friends, the ladder, the table, and the chair, and he got to the table and he said about the table to Roman Reigns, of course, who is the head of the table, the tribal chief, the #1 table craftsman in all of North America. Kevin Owens was speaking about his table and he said, table's hard, table's tough to break, but once you do so, she's so welcoming. The table is looking forward to receiving you at TLC. Oh, I was thinking Kevin Owens, man. Bloody hell, what sort of books have you been reading, man? We all know that Roman Reigns, he sits at the end of the table. He doesn't go around shagging tables. Looking forward to receiving him. Is this just me being weird? It might be. Or maybe Roman Reigns shags tables. Pass it on. This is nonsense. And I cannot have been the only professional wrestling fan watching last night's SmackDown asking myself the question, what the hell happened to Kevin Owens' face? We see Kevin Owens in the ring there. He's looking at Roman Reigns, walking backstage. He then leaves the ring to go and chase after Roman Reigns with a very sexy chair. I'm only saying sexy because it would appear that Kevin Owens finds inanimate objects very sexy indeed. The table's ready to receive you. We then go to commercial break. We then come back from commercial break and we see Kevin Owens walking backstage. And that's appeared on his face, whichever cheek it's on. So he fought off Jey Uso inside of the wrestling ring. Not a mark on his face, not a blemish, perfect skin from top to bottom, from cheek to cheek. He then merely walks backstage and he's got a big bloody shiner. A big bloody shiner. Kevin Owens can't walk. Is that what we're learning here? And then we see Billie Kay doing the tag team wrestling after WWE split the Iconics up. Unbelievable. And then when you think about it, we also have Payne and Royce after the Iconics doing the tag team wrestling on Monday Night Raw. Later in the show, during last night's SmackDown, we see Otis after Heavy Machinery. He's doing the tag team wrestling once again, although that is an exception to the rule because I love Chad Gable a hell of a lot more than I did with Tucker Knight, that no good cockwomble. But with the Iconics splitting up thinking, oh, they might have big singles runs now, but no, they're in worse tag teams than the tag team they had before. It just leaves you asking the question, doesn't it, dear viewer? WWE, man, what the hell are you doing? So we can all see what the planned spot was right here. Billie Kay, she gets knocked back, this arm and shoulder, it knocks Natalya. Natalya's blinded. She goes to the floor. That's how the Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan team win. They're called the Riott Squad, aren't they, Ross? Yes, they are. The actual spot we saw with our very own eyes. Billie Kay gets knocked back. She bounces off the ropes. Nowhere near Natalya, but Natalya still sells the face like she's been clobbered with a wet fish. And I'm just saying, WWE, it wouldn't have happened with the Iconics. They've got chemistry. When the hell did Carmella become a filthy animal? That's the question I'm asking myself. And no, I'm not referring to her eating secret McDonald's behind the back of one Corey Graves. I'm asking the question because gimmick infringement Kane, poof, the flames, they are very hot indeed. He reminded me that Ronald Mysterious himself, Mr. Rey Mysterio, also a member of the Friday Night SmackDown roster, he was in a stable back in the WCW days known as the Filthy Animals, and they did that entrance there just a bit less, you know, Hey! Snake hips and that, they were a bit more like, yeah, we're cool, young, hip-hop and happening. And then we saw Carmella twat a bottle of champagne off the back of Sasha Banks. My goodness, it was devastating. But then shades of Sid Vicious, they came into Carmella's arsenal. Gimmick infringement, Kane's back once again, by the way. Because just like back in the day where Sid Vicious got it a bit flip reverse when he was saying to a professional wrestler, I've got half the brain that you do, Carmella, she was speaking trash to Sasha Banks and she was saying, Sasha, who's on whose level now, Sasha? You're out of my league, Sasha. You're out of my league. And I was thinking, Carmella, yes, that's what Sasha Banks has been saying. You should be saying, I'm now out of your league, Sasha. You are in the championship. I'm in the Premier League with the smashed bottles of champagne. In my mind there, she got it flip reverse, so she did, Carmella, and therefore WTF. Sid Vicious. And that's it for all the WTF moments from last night's SmackDown. I have been Ross Twiddell from Cultaholic Wrestling. Thank you very much for watching this random bollocks once again. Coming up very soon on this very YouTube channel, we have the first in a long line of tier list rankings going through all of the current day rosters. We have the 2020/2021 Raw roster, NXT roster, AEW roster, and Friday night SmackDown roster. I do believe the first one going live is Gary YouTube. Don't know why I pointed at me there. It's a different man. Gary YouTube and Adam Pacitti of Cultaholic Wrestling going through the Raw roster post WWE draft. Whew, they are long. Bye.